Hi again, guys. So I know I haven't had a new tutorial in a few days, and that is just because I've been going through a few things, dealing with a few things in my personal life, and I haven't really had time to create anything. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to create the 31 days of Horrorween, but I'll have close to 31. So I decided to go ahead and get back into it now that I have time for makeup, and today I wanted to create something really spooky and gross for you. Today I am doing a zombie nurse, actually. First, I'm starting with the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I thought I was going to use it throughout the whole look, and I ended up not doing that. I ended up switching to my Morphe palette, but I'm just taking this red color, and I'm using that as my transition color. So I'm just going above my crease and kind of in my crease with it. Then I'm taking my Morphe 35C palette, and I'm just using this dark berry color, and I'm going into my crease with it. We're going for a pretty dramatic eye today. Once we're done with that, I'm taking Too Faced Shadow Insurance Glitter Glue and NYX Cosmetics Face and Body Glitter in red. I'm just going to be putting this all over my lid. So start with the glitter glue and then pack on the glitter. I do a couple of layers of glitter. I use a Q-tip. You can use a brush, whichever works easiest for you. After applying the glitter, I'm just taking a black shadow and I'm putting that into my crease and underneath of where the glitter is at to make sort of a cat eye shape. This is sort of a cut crease, I guess technically it's a cut crease. And just blend that out. Next, I'm just taking a brush and wiping away glitter and excess shadows. As you can see here, I outlined some spots on my face that I thought I would be doing, I would be using as a reference, but I ended up not using that. I just put foundation over those spots, so ignore that. I did trace and outline my nurse uniform, I guess. I'm just painting it in white. I ended up losing the footage of me shading in the shirt, like the collar area, and me outlining it. So basically I'm just doing the same thing that I did on the shirt, though, that I'm doing on my body. I'm just taking a warm shadow, like a warm brown, and first placing that on the line, and then I'm taking a black shadow and going right up against that line to create a realistic looking shadow. I also dirtied up the shirt a little bit by just putting some gray spots all over it. And now I'm also shading the sleeves. Next, I'm painting on the little crosses that a nurse has on her dress. So I'm just painting on the white crosses first, and then I am going in with red paint and filling in around that and creating a circular shape. The red paint doesn't have to be perfect because we're just going to be putting glitter on top anyways, so if it comes out a little patchy, that's alright. And here is where I am doing the same thing we did on the lids. I'm applying the glitter glue and then I'm putting glitter right on top of that. I did this because the hat I bought had glitter on it, so I wanted it to be cohesive and match the hat. The little nurse hat I have has a little red cross on it, a white cross I guess, and has a whole bunch of glitter on it, so I wanted it to be like a glam zombie look. Now I am filling in my collarbones and adding some extra ones and some cleavage. This is pretty important. This will make you look more dead, zombie-like I guess. And then just cover your face in your favorite foundation. I'm going for something more pale. And also put on some concealer. I didn't put any on the underneath of my eyes though because I wanted to look super, sunken in, really tired. If you have super big bags underneath of your eyes, it'll make you look more dead or more like a zombie. So I left the concealer out from underneath of my eyes. Taking some grays and browns, I'm just taking a little brush and I'm really exaggerating the bags underneath of my eyes. I'm dragging it down way farther than my actual bags are at, and I'm just creating a really dark circle there on the inner corners and bringing it up into the inner corners of my eyes. This will just make you look super dead, I guess. That's what we're going for, right? Take some black liner and fill in your waterline. Now I'm taking black shadow and I'm going to smoke all of this out, and I made it extra messy. I wanted her to be glam, but still kind of like messy and not perfect. A zombie's not perfect. So just mess it up as much as you'd like. And now go ahead and do your eyeliner. I did a super exaggerated cat eye, but of course do whatever you like best. Now it's time to contour. I wanted to give that really sunken in kind of skeleton kind of feel. I wanted her to seem really morbid and dead. So what I'm doing is I'm following my natural cheekbone there, and I am just using a gray and a cool brown, and I'm basically lining out where I want it to be at, and then I'm going to take a white paint and go on top of it. This will just help it be kind of elevated, I guess, and make it look more like the cheekbone is sticking out. And then after I put the white on the top, I take a black shadow and I go right underneath of that white line. This just makes it look super sunken in. I'm just blending it out. I ended up going back in with like the brown and the light gray and just going back and forth with the blending. And because I thought it was almost too dark, I took my foundation brush, and I just went over it. This will just kind of hide some of the lines, make it look a little bit more natural. Not that it does look natural in any way, but it just helps blend in a little bit more. Now I'm going and contouring my forehead. I'm doing kind of like a skull-like bone structure there. I end up going over most of it with liquid latex anyways, so it's not that big of a deal. But if you always think your lines are too harsh, you can just take your foundation brush and go over it, and it will blend them out a little bit for you. Contour your nose and your lips. And now I'm taking latex. I got this from Spirit Halloween. And what I'm doing is I am building up layers of latex on different areas of my skin. So I'm doing about 3 to 4 layers on these spots right here. Let the first layer dry completely and then go back over it with another layer of latex. I did one on my left cheek there, one on my forehead, one on my chin, and I ended up going on my nose and on my right cheek as well, just a little bit. The more latex you add, the more exaggerated or dramatic it's going to look. So do as many layers as you want. Now I am making a base where I'm going to be sticking my little syringe needle. It's just a pen from Spirit Halloween, it's like a writing pen that I got. But I'm just making a base basically and figuring out where I want to lay the syringe down at. This was the hard part. Once you have that base down, put some latex over the syringe and take some cotton and put it over the syringe, more latex, and you need to hold it in place until some of the latex dries and it's basically sitting up by itself. This was really hard to do because the syringe is pretty heavy for latex and cotton, so I had to keep building it up, just adding more latex, adding more cotton. And what you really want to do is you want to add cotton and latex laying over the syringe onto your skin, and then you also want to build it up on the sides there so the syringe has something to lay on, and that's holding it up. This is the same thing that I did for my Queen of Hearts bleeding crown. This was from last year, this Queen of Hearts look I'm talking about. This is basically the same idea. You just want to build cotton and latex around the item so that it's able to sit up on its own. You especially want to lay cotton down, like a good amount of cotton right there on the side where I'm doing it at, so that when the syringe is sitting, it has something to lay on and it doesn't end up falling off of you. Just build it until you feel like it's not going to go anywhere and it's not going to move. I've had mine on for a few hours now with this technique. And then I'm just adding a couple more layers of latex. Like I said, I did it on my cheek and my nose. And this is where you kind of need to decide where you can start picking it at. Now I'm putting on my lipstick while the latex is drying. And this is where you're picking it at. So what this is going to do is it's going to create like kind of like a hole effect in your skin. It's going to look like your skin was deteriorating. So you're just going to pick at it. This is why you want to do a lot of layers of latex, because you don't want to pick at your actual skin. That really hurts. I ended up taking a bobby pin and kind of like moving the latex around a little bit to open a hole there. You don't want to stretch the hole out too far because you don't want to like lift all the latex up off your skin. So just do some little holes, larger holes. This is just giving the look of it kind of falling apart, sliding off. A zombie is dead, so your skin's kind of like, you know, it's not nice. Now I'm taking the Makeup Forever Flash Palette. I love these colors. They're like deadly morbid colors. And I'm just applying different colors all around these areas. So I'm doing purples, I'm doing pinks, and I'm doing yellows. And I'm just blending them all together. I'm using a Q-tip. And right here, I'm putting some foundation around that big area so that the latex blends in with my skin. But I'm doing the same thing on this syringe part that I did on my face. I'm just applying purple, and then I'm putting like a pinkish kind of red color on top of that. And then I'm putting yellow on top of all of that, and I'm just taking a bare Q-tip after I've placed all the colors, and I'm using my finger and the bare Q-tip to blend it all out into my skin. This just gives for like a deathly kind of gross effect. And now I'm making some veins. I just took purple and red paint and just lightly putting some veins in certain areas and then tapping it out with my finger. You want your brush to be pretty watered down when you do that as well. Now I'm taking some Scab blood and I'm applying it in all the areas that we created the holes and where the syringe is sticking out of. I also put a band-aid on top of that syringe. I just thought it was kind of cute to add that since I am a nurse. And then I just put blood all around the band-aid and in areas where I created the holes at. And the Scab blood is actually going to keep these little pieces of rice in. I learned this from Jordan Hans. I just took rice and stuck them in the bloody areas. The scab blood is a really good adhesive for them, and just do a few of them and slide it into the scab blood. If you need to, gunk up the scab blood in a few areas. That way the maggots will sit in those areas. Add as many or as little as you'd like to. Now I put on my wig and my little nurse hat, and I put some blood on it because it was too pretty. And I am dirtying it up with some gray and brown shadows like I did on my shirt that I painted on. And also I'm splattering blood. It's just red paint. But I'm splattering it all over the hat, and I also did it all over the side of my face, on my neck, on my chest. I did it everywhere. Just really water down that brush and flick it all over your face, basically. And I'm also painting my hand white so it looks like a glove, and I'm going to put some blood on it as well. This is kind of hard to take pictures with when your hand is all painted like this, but I got it done. I figured it out. Add some gross blood, and ta-da, you are finished. A spooky nurse lady who's also quite sexy. If you guys recreate this look, please tag me in it on Instagram. I wanted to get into something spooky today. I'm going to be doing more like classic Halloween looks for the next week and a half until Halloween. So stay tuned for any other looks that you are planning on being for Halloween. I might have something up my sleeve for you. Thanks for watching, guys.